Friends, welcome back once again to a secret lair hidden deep within the hills of Middle Tennessee. We are here to drive, well, a Nissan Titan XD. And you're probably thinking, well, we already drove a Nissan Titan XD. That one was big and yellow. This one is not yellow, but it's still big. You see, there's quite a difference, and the difference actually is underneath there somewhere. Instead of running on Rudolph Diesel's most magical fuel, this one runs on Glyceride. So while we work on the full first drive review, you and I are going to do a tech review. Now, before we dive into that, a little aside here. Some of you seem to be, let's just say, put off by the term Longhorn Lexus. Let's just say I've been doing this for a while. I've been a car guy all my life. Well aware that Toyota is the one that runs Lexus, not Nissan. But just think about the ring to Longhorn Lexus versus Longhorn Infiniti. Get it? So with that, let's start where we always start, the engine. So as we raise this very large hood here, I want to say that I'm very thankful for the ton of comments that have come in on the previous Titan episodes. And really that tells me two things. Number one, there are a lot of Titan fanboys. And number two, and I think more importantly, there's a lot of inbound interest from the differing camps out there, the Ford, the GM, and the Chrysler camps. And that tells me you guys have been probably noticing some of the details here. Like, look at this front end. It looks the same as the Titan XD with diesel. Well, guess what? The entire truck is effectively the same truck. The biggest difference is this engine here. Now, granted, there are some other differences which we'll get to, but Nissan has finally given us some details on the coming 1500, which we're going to drive sometime over the summer. But really what's going to change is everything, in the front end at least. The only thing that's going to be common between the 1500 and the XDs, whether it's gas or diesel, are the headlights here. So basically the fenders, the hood, even the grille are going to change for the coming 1500. So what are the differences? Well, here is this engine, which is, in Nissan speak, the VK56VD, which is a 5.6 liter V8. It's manufactured in Dechard, Tennessee, not in Indiana like the Cummins. We're actually going to go to the Dechard plant for the full first drive review, so make sure you come back for that. So what's the difference in this 5.6 from the previous Titan engine? Well, a couple of things. Number one, it's got totally new pistons. Number two, it's got new heads. And number three, and it's really not so much the engine, in the gasoline version, it has a single battery as opposed to a dual battery like in the diesel. So what does that translate to in output? Well, it's 390 horsepower, but most importantly, 401 pound-feet of torque, which comes in at 4,000 RPM. Now, as a basis of comparison, in the diesel, it's 310 and 555, which comes in at a stupidly low 1,600 RPM. But that's diesel. So if we're thinking gas and diesel as far as comparison, what's the compression ratio? Well, here it's 11:1. Okay, so this is the point where you got to get out your speak and spell, your Etch-a-Sketch, whatever you need to kind of track the changes here. And like the front end, it's kind of the same here. This whole chassis of the frame, a lot of the suspension bits are shared with the XD diesel. And so let's recap. The front clip comes out of an NV3500, the front clip of this frame. The center is like its own specific to the XD. It's like this, it's huge. And then back here is going to be somewhat shared with the 1500. Now you should check out our full first drive review of the Titan XD, the big yellow one we drove in Arizona. We put it up in the air so you can actually see what these bits look like. Then there are the brakes. Front rotor's 14 inches. You need the stopping power even in this one with this kind of weight. Now you're probably thinking, well, that sounds like everything's the same. Why did I get my speak and spell out to go through, because there's no changes? Well, there actually are some changes. Number one, the spring rates and the damper tuning have been changed, and that's a big function of there is less weight hanging over the front, so they have to recalibrate them for a lower weight vehicle. Now, there's another change here, and I think probably almost more important, we'll have to cover this in the full first drive review, and that is the transmission. So in the XD diesel, to recap there, that's a 6-speed Aisin unit. This one is a 7-speed unit, and that's going to be shared with the coming Armada. Now, there's one other change, and think about it. It's a gasoline engine. different tuning, and also a different transmission, so that affects the final drive ratio. So it goes from 3.912 in the diesel to 3.357 in the gas. Now there are some other changes, mainly in the business end, which we need to cover back here. And now, the business end of a business vehicle. So as I look not at all graceful, getting up in this thing, an open letter to the folks at Nissan in Tennessee. So I've told my audience over the years that I am not a Ford guy, but in this particular case, you know, Ford, they've got this ladder thing here in the gate. Could you sort one of those out for me here? Would really love it. Now to this whole thing back here. In my purview of the world, I would see someone buying an XD diesel for towing. And that's because towing capacity on that one is 12,300 pounds. But here we've already talked about it. You've got less torque, and that torque comes in at a higher engine speed. So how does that affect towing capacity? It's about 1,000 pounds. So this one does 11,270 pounds in towing capacity. Then, look where I'm standing in the bed here. What about the payload? You'd think it'd be the same story here. Well, actually, that's where it kind of goes in reverse. Now think about it here. You've got a smaller engine sitting up front, but it weighs less. So that you kind of pick up benefit here in that you add about 500 pounds of payload capacity. So it goes from 2,091 to 2,590. And while we're on the bed here, in the XD, Nissan will offer you any length bed as long as it's 6.5 feet. Now I did speak to Brent, who is the product manager on this vehicle, great guy by the way, and actually he's so into testing these vehicles, he is having another child so he can test out the capacity of the interior with 2 children in the back instead of just one. So congratulations to Brent there. He was telling me more about the 1500, and he was saying that the 1500 is going to be offered in this crew cab, a king cab, and a regular standard cab. Well, guess what? They're going to offer the same 3 cabs now in the XD as well, and this is going to be coming more towards July and August. We're going to see those vehicles. But also, in the 1500, they're going to have 3 different lengths of bed. So that's when we're going to get into the more like mass market version of the Titan when we get into the 1500. So with that, I want to leave you guys with a question. And the question is this. This is the gasoline version of the heavy-duty version of the Titan. And this is the one where it's still got the gooseneck trailer built into it and all that kind of stuff. What would you do with this on a daily basis? Like, why would you buy this version with the gas over this version with the diesel? Like, what would be the daily job you would use with the gasoline version? And don't just tell me what the job is or what you would do with it every day, but tell me what you currently drive, what your current job is with that truck, and what part of the world or what part of the country you are in where you do all this stuff. Let me know in the comments below or via our social media, MotoManTV, all one word, MotoManTV, all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, I want to leave you with 2 things. Number 1, make sure to download our fancy new mobile application, which you can download for free at Apple iTunes and Google Play. And number 2, a fun fact. So the man that designed this vehicle, our very good friend Randy Rodriguez, who also designed the Nissan 370Z, the Infiniti Merge concept car, and basically every other cool Nissan and Infiniti over the past couple of years. He's kind of annoying in that respect, but we still love him. He was recently given some good news. He got a hall pass from his lovely wife to get a cool car. So he went and bought a Project 240Z, kind of was restoring it, did something cool to it. So cool that someone bought it from him. And then he applied for another hall pass, and he's got himself another 240Z that he's restoring and making into a kind of like a track car. So we are very excited to welcome Randy back to the world of cool old cars. And oh, by the way, Randy, everybody wants you to build that Warrior pickup that you brought to Detroit. So could you get on that? That would be great. So until we drive the full first drive review of the Titan V8 gas here in Middle Tennessee, I say, bis später.